Here, IPL 14 has been postponed as BCCA declared that due to concern about the players' health, management staff's care, and the coaches also should take care of themselves. Here, in case, what is the question we can asking here? This in ethics GS paper, we can see at what is the integrity and moral values are affected and BCCA taken into the amount to postpone the IPL 14. Whereas integrity and moral values are coming to the place, then while we are caring about the players and management staffs instead of earnings due to IPL. Then we can see at other article how supply chain, what is oxygen supply. This court has suggested that I suggested that center will going to face the contempt of court. Supreme Court already said that central government should taking care of the oxygen supply to the Delhi's hospitals which are facing the huge shortage of oxygen, but central not comply with Supreme Court order. Now High Court also suggested the center should taking care of the oxygen supply because center parliament is also situated in Delhi. They should also taking care of themselves also. This is the case. Saying contempt will going to contempt will affect the confidence of the people in government. In center or state, any state or state government or central government will going to rely on its Supreme Court orders should oblige the judgments of the Supreme Court or High Court. By that self they secure from the contempt of court the protection from the second order of court actions. So because judiciary system having huge respect in public arena, publics have huge respect in judiciary. So if judiciary is contempted the court, if judiciary contempt of court against governments, definitely government is going to lose the confidence of the people, and a huge mass is going to afraid of the government system and administration. And second thing, next one is 5G trials, which is fifth generation telecom services. Department of Telecommunications is going to taking policy measures, and teleservice providers government is given trials to the Jio's, Bharti Airtel, Vodafone, MTNL. Then they ignore that Chinese based telecom giants like UIA, JT, ZTE. By this we can analyze here what is the preparation of the India to take forward 5G telecommunication services. This question we can ask, we can expecting in GS paper how India is preparing equipped for 5G telecommunication services in coming days, and what is its preparation in future. Here is we can see at how foreign policy is affected in COVID situation. We can see is as regional and domestic and overall foreign policy, and how China India having such relationships in this global pandemic. How? Because regional players, India as a leader of South Asian player, here is most small countries or neighbors are looking at us for aids and supports and helps in these sectors of health, education, and technology investments, all these things. But when India is become loser, when it's loose or weaker in its weaker position, how it's going to help other neighbor countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan. All these countries are depending Maldives. All these countries are depending some extent on some extent on India. But if in case it's failed in its own economy, or if it's not facing COVID-19 situation well, if it's negatively impacted from that, how it's going to help others. And also it's coming to the domestic. In the 2024 general elections is coming on, and 2022 UP elections is coming on, and we already saw that West Bengal elections, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, these are elections are going to change the domestic policy, domestic political activities of India. Definitely going to affect the policy, domestic politics from foreign policy viewpoints. And I have also lesser amount of money to help or taking concern about the local politics, local policies or welfare activities are going to depraved because of COVID-19 management. And also we can see that other fronts, other fronts also, there's a global policy changes are going to take place. Not only it's regional, how it's going to foreign policy is going to change in our conditions, in this condition. In USA, Russia, and other England, other European countries, Japan, or Indo-Pacific countries will going to look at us as a seeker, not a provider. Here is some extent we were leaders in some extent in providing help in UNA and African countries by providing medicines or peace force, UN peace forces or forces, and somehow we are supplying the livelihood materials to them. But now we are not able to deliver the services because we are in critical position. India is in critical position to face its own requirements and meet its own requirements needs. But now it's not able to provide investment opportunities, investments in abroad or other foreign countries. Then we will going to lose the leverage in other countries. It's going to lose its preferences or influences on other countries. In this case, we are globally lose the position as a leader. We are going to lose that position. We are give the place to the China, which is ready to take that opportunity to go forward. Here is China is going to replace India's position in regional and Indo-Pacific region of the world, and other countries also look at China as a replacer of India. In this case, how foreign policy is going to affect it, how our autonomy is going to affect it. We are going to take concern about the other countries' opinion with us. It's definitely USA is pressuring us to buy more and more arms and ammunitions from USA. We are going to bend before them to take concern about our financial distresses and deprivations. These are conditions we are going to, will there is an option, there is possibility of we losing the autonomy of our affairs. This is the editorial saying that how foreign policy is going to affected with regional, global, and China in particular, and also domestic ways. This is a fine good article. You can see and make notes on it. What's the question we are going to take from it? In GS, we can see that how foreign policy being affected from COVID-19, how India is losing influences in fronts in COVID situation, how India is how it could build its equipments and tools to rejuvenate foreign policy, strong foreign policy in future. It's also they can ask your opinion on it. What's your opinion, or what's your suggestion, or how you give solution to this type of foreign policy is affected right now? You can give positive answer. After COVID, we're going to have new visits at presidential prime minister level. We're going to review that policies with regional players and global levels. we will, we will going to have more investment opportunities, and we'll also let our indigenous players to go and invest more in abroad. We will going to win-win situation, we will going to create. These are all positive points you should going to write in exam, then you will definitely have some positive opinion or positive answers in your paper. Then we can see that COVID is not only a lives problem, it's also a livelihood problem. Here is author telling about the how it is in construction industry. Migrants are facing the huge losses, facing huge deliberately uses more and low livelihood atrocities. Why it is happening? Because they are in unsecured, underprivileged labors. They are usually migrating from one state to another state. They are deprived. They are not able to getting their own nutrition. They have deprived their education, moral rights, any rights. There is a law. There is huge setback for Contract Labor Act 1970. There is a 20. If anyone have 20 labors, they should have comply with the rules and regulations. But there is, in COVID situation, no one is taking care of the rules and regulation right now, because they are sustaining their own businesses or their own functions as is very challenging. How can they taking care of these underprivileged and weaker sections and informal labors? In this case, we can see that 20 taking concern about its 20 labors to 10 labors, they are reducing that number, but this not happened in practical way. But again, migrants workers are going back to their natives after second wave of the COVID taking place in India. It is disastrous. In this case, they are not only losing food and nutrition, they are also losing the basic rights of living. They are going to helpless, they are going to return their home with hungry. They are not getting in future also. They are afraid to come back, and again they are not able to face the third wave of the COVID-19. These are all the concerns that here is concerned about, that lives not only a matter, it's also lives with livelihood also matters. So government should taking a comprehensive measures and structural policy measures to taking care of these sections, and should give free rations, and some extent government should also give some monetary help. There is question we can ask here: how informal sector was affected? How informal sector has been affected? How informal sector has been affected due to COVID situation in terms of livelihood, not only lives. In these kind of questions we can expect in GS. So we should have thorough in these all situations, and also moral grounds, and also physical means food, bread, butter, like that. This moral ground, spiritual ground, social ground, and economical ground. These are all prospects should be covered in exam. In question, we can give positive note on end conclusion. Thereby we can conclude that answer. Sri Lankan waters. Sri Lankan water, definitely we are seen often in newspapers. Tamilian fishermen went into the Sri Lankan waters to fishing. These are all purely livelihood question, as we saw in last slide. Here is our fishermen during these times, same time of the same last every year, 61-day fishing not allowed in Park Strait due to for giving fishes to get double or increase numbers. Their number should be going to rise. That's why they not giving permission to fishermen to go fish. During this condition, fishermen go enter into the Sri Lankan waters to get enough fish for their livelihood. But Sri Lankan Navy and other military Sri Lankan authority as sending back to the Indian waters, India. Here is there is no any formal format in this condition to give suggestion, but there is remain both countries to sit and take uni, unified united condition united suggestions in this case. But in here is concern about not about Sri Lanka. Sri Lankans are not breaching the war rule ocean rules, but we are breaching. We should give uh, some comfortable comprehension to compensation to Tamilian fishermen. We should prevent the Tamilian fishermen. We should prevent our fishermen to enter into the Sri Lankan waters. Then by thereby we can manage good friendship with Sri Lankan Sri Lankan authority, because our simple and this kind of action should not derail our good relationship with neighbors. And second thing is here is Supreme Court as clear message to the administration governments about that it is in guardian of rights of ordinary people. Here is court suggested that COVID-19 mismanagement. Second one is sedition charges against lawyers, students, and other genuine people. And also some other cases, UP government, for example, UP government has not given chances to the Kanappans to take COVID treatment. In all these cases, Supreme Court reiterated that I am with ordinary people. In the statement suggested that Supreme Court remain with justice, social justice. It's going to give justice to the people, common people. What is judicial system? As I earlier told that mass Indians are having huge confidence in Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is taking legal stand and is going to protect Indians or public ordinary people. So here is we can understand that concern of the Supreme Court in public life. They will going to protect us and also guardian of the Constitution. Here is Jagmohan. Jagmohan is one of the integrity is known for integrity. He was a ex civil service servant. He was also worked as governor, lieutenant governor of Goa, Diu Daman, governor of Jammu and Kashmir, 2 term. He was not a rubber stamp. He was known for honest integrity. He is helped Kashmiri Pandits during 1990s during their atrocities. He has a vision and mission in the on that time. He was not going blindly follow the political suggestions. He was going with his own consciousness and his own mentality. Then thereby he is known for his integrity. He is also awarded for Padma Bhushana, Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushana. And we can see other things. G7. G7. In G7 countries are democratic countries are stand united against China policies or China stand. Why? It is here is these democratic countries are concentrating on global policies which should align with democratic systems and values. But as China is a communist country, it is not taking concern about the human rights. For example, Uyghurs in Xinjiang provinces and its atrocities in South China Sea. South China Sea. China is not following the rules of global. It's not rules based country. It's choosing its own way to meet its demands, which are not just. Here is all democratic countries, means 7 democratic countries, and they are also included like Japan, Germany, Italy, England, Italy, USA, like this France, and also in this they are also seeking support of India, Australia, and South Korea support to get against China. We can expect this question, how democratic world, expected question is how democratic world stand against China in this complex world, which is depending one another irrespective of political sphere, like democratic countries depending on communist country going to depending on domestic country, democratic country, like this. So in this case, how it's going to be changes, you will get changes in future. Then we next going to see that how that's for US Food and Drug Administration is gave permission to Pfizer vaccine to 12 to 15 age groups. Here is we saw that we are remain shortage in 18 to 44 years of age get vaccinated, but USA is already started trials to and giving approved to the 12 to 18 years of age peoples, and also given trial to the children, ready to give trials to the children. In how far behind us? India is far behind from USA in this case, because USA is getting more and more forward in this COVID containing, but we are now only April give approval to the foreign players to get trial in India. So we are also now we are opening up the space for private players across the countries to get trials. So there is possibility of third wave seeking at us at October November's conditions going to critical for children also. Then we are now giving the approval to, that is a positive step taken by government of India. So we are looking at this as a direction for us. So we should go forward and taking steps to vaccine development. We say that in future also. Here is microfinance institutions flag rural borrower stresses RBI. Microfinance institutions suggested RBI about the borrowers distress in rural area. Rural area, you can see that small borrowers, microfinance staffers and their families, and small farmers and retailers and traders are facing the huge distress in these COVID conditions. The microfinance institutions suggesting and requesting RBI to take some policy measures and which are going to give relief to these microfinance institutions and their farmers and retailers and other bodies which is going to revive the agricultural activities in rural area. Then we can see that here is we can look at the question we can arise expecting from here, how during COVID situation how rural economy is going to get affected, already affected, how it is going to affect it. What is the role of microfinance institutions in rural area? What is its influence? in political and authoritative bodies. And here we can see it's in the gray color jobs, a gig economy concept. Here is COVID-19 situation lockdown is happened. Due to this, our mobility is limited. We have opened up the new possibilities of a new kind of economy is revolved right now. We are restricted our mobility. Now we are depending on online traders like Zomato, Flipkart, Amazon, Swiggy, Baiju, Urban Company, Food is like all these companies are delivering services through online, and these are all provided through delivery staffs. In this case, this kind of e-commerce will going to peak its activities. It's going to earn $455 by 2024, and 17% of its compound annual growth. It's going to be a big changes in job environment and its revenue generations. What is traditionally we are going to reverse this. E-economy is going to boost it rather than physical factory physically, like factories or any other systems are going to be inefficient in coming days. This new format will going to get activated. This question we can see that what is the growth of e-commerce in spite of COVID situation. This question can be asked, or what is the new trend is arised in digital economy or gig economy or e-commerce economy in these days, in current days. They are not definitely asking direct question on COVID-19, how its effect on e-commerce. They will going to ask what is the e-commerce trends is happening in right now, or what is the trend is shifting from kirani shops to e-commerce. What is new trend is emerging these days? Like these questions they can be asked. And here this question is how India is interact with other few countries. Here is virtual summit has happened with India and England. So both these two countries are reiterated their friendship level. They are going to have more deepen its friendship in investment funds and vaccine development. Already we have vaccine development with Oxford University, AstraZeneca, and our Serum Institute of India. Both are combined to develop the vaccine Covishield. It's developed. They are remarkably declared that developed in London, England, and made in India and distributed global. This is the clear statement made by both our both leaders. And also we opened up the free trade agreements, comprehensive free trade agreements by 2030 by clarify all trade deals in coming days. And also it's talking on digital and software fronts. Software giant Infosys has involved in this discussion, and we have a huge it's also useful for London to create more 6,000 5,000 jobs. In this way we can conclude this video. By this question we can say that how bilateral relationships is going to changes in COVID-19 situations. Thank you so much.